Welcome to this tutorial. We'll be creating this effect. Basically, your major takeaway should be how to make these hands appear darker. You'd see the original images a lot brighter than this, and amongst other things. So let's start by getting that red background. So I'm taking two colors, the dark red and the light red. So if you press Alt, you can get the color. Press Alt and click a color, you can get it. And then by the time you press X, you can switch, and then you press Alt to get another color. So I'm just going to, with the background selected, just going to paint some places lighter. In hindsight, you should do this on a different layer. It allows you more flexibility and all that. Next, we're going to bring in the hand. So I'm going to try all these so that I'll see which one works best. So feel free to experiment using any hand you want. But I found out that a third one just looks way balanced. Generally, you're going for something that allows you to see the most of the screen, and also has the everything like in focus. Do you get? So I could get rid of the other two now. So I did flip horizontal to see if it looks better with. So in your adjusting, make sure that you're either pressing Shift or the link button is selected. We're going to sharpen this image because it's a bit blurry, and it's our major image. So if you work in a brand, you should have access to Shutterstock. You should have high quality images, but we could still make use of this. So using the quick selection tool with a lesser tolerance 10, because the background is white and it's going to be easy to just select everything. You're going to click the part you want, and then click the masking tool. Ctrl I inverts. You will need to click more places where there's still white. So let's just do that. Control back space fills that place with black, which automatically makes that place empty. So just press Control backspace. Next, I'm going to convert this to a smart object. This allows us to increase the size, reduce the size, and make it way bigger, smaller, without losing quality. Next thing we're going to do is bring in brightness. So we want to bring our brightness down. First of all, we need to get that white out of the way. So use the selection tool, click the white, modify, expand by 1 pixel so that it gets more of that extra screen. And then on a new layer, control backspace. Let's just make that layer green so that you see what you're working with. So control backspace will fill that place up. Control D will deselect. So yeah, let's continue. So we'll make the brightness, we'll push that down a whole lot. And contrast sort of makes the darker parts come out. So that's what we're trying to do. We'll do another one, because what we have is not dark enough. Pressing the Alt button brings up the clipping mask. You could also press that as well. Bring down the brightness the more, and also bring up the contrast. We pretty much have a dark image right now. While selecting the second brightness, we want to quickly touch parts that we do not want to be that dark. So light is coming from the left, the right hand side of the hand. So just at the edges, those are the places we want to be a bit brighter. Not too bright, but like much brighter than the rest of the hands. So if a place already has light, you might want to make it a bit lighter. Your goal is to make it look natural. You should look at it and feel like this is how it would look like if I had actually taken a picture like this. Same thing with the bottom of the hand. Is assume that light is coming from that angle too. So look at that. Next thing I want to do is to get rid of that part of the hand that is still bright. So just like that, we've gotten rid of the white. So you're just selecting that place, creating a new mask, and then once you click on the mask tool, you should get your mask all over the image. Then Ctrl I just inverts that. So next we want to use our pen tool to select parts of the hand, generally just the top. Make selection, and then if you press D, it fills your palette with black and white. So Control Backspace gives you you'll be able to fill up that. So we're going to duplicate it, Then for one of the two duplicates, we're going to use blur. Just a little. Then we bring the blending mode down to something like overlay. As you can see, it looks like light is coming from that side. For the second duplicate, we're going to allow that blur to be much more. Reduce the opacity, then change that blend mode to overlay too. So we're going to do the same thing for the bottom of the hand, of the left hand. So if you see the cursor change, press Control, press Shift, press Alt till it's the same thing you currently see on your screen. And then most times those keys just are what one would press to get a different option. Just the same way we did the first one. So obviously you could do color overlay to, have a different color, but I'm choosing to stick to white for a reason. We would still get that red feel later on. So just like that, you have this sort of lighting coming in from these left and right hand sides. So next we're going to do color balance. Then we want to get a red tone, especially around the shadows. So keep adjusting this until you have that red look. So you can see the difference between the two. I also want to use selective color to get more of that red look out. Then increasing the blacks to also allow you to have more shadows and dark spots. So let's get rid of all the effects and see where we started from. And here's where we are now. Perfect. We're going to now put in the characters into the design. First is the character of the man. Put him on top of the screen and making sure your height and width are linked, reduce the heights. So you can see this white line all around him. So the easiest way to remove that the easiest way to get rid of that is control click, select, modify, contract by 2, then mask. Just like that, we got rid of the white line all around him. We're going to make this sharper. So first of all, we're going to click mask 1, we duplicate it, and then we click mask 1 to the green layer. Now there's one in the green layer and there's one on top of the green layer. Now if you put a mask on the one on top of the green layer and you clean off its legs, you would have created an effect where it looks like it is popping out of the screen. And that's the effect we're trying to create. Then we're going to make sure we sharpen our image. Then we want to clip mask this in on the hand. Of course, we want to create an effect of the shadow. If that character is really in front, it will cast a shadow on the hand, and that's what we're trying to create next. So always look out for stuff like that. The shadow something would be, because you're creating an image that was not photographed. If it was photographed, you'd notice the shadows in the right places. So your composition has to have those shadows. It's a must. How do you do that? You make sure that you can take from the initial object what is casting the shadow, make a duplicate of it. It's way better than drawing any shadow up by yourself. So next we're going to bring in the girl shooting. Make that smaller, and I try to find high quality of these images online, but unfortunately there isn't, so we just have to make do with what we have. If you were working with any of these brands, you should also try to make sure that your designs also have that quality in it, so it's not like you're making use of very dull images or images that have issues. Always try to make sure that if you can, try to find the highest quality of that particular image. Next we're going to, just like we did with the man, we're going to have a duplicate of the woman clip masked to the green screen, and another one on top of the green screen. Then you just mask out the bottom parts. We also want one of the things you would notice is that I also want to make sure that there's a shadow of the man on the girl. Making use of the shadow of the man, you can create a mask or create a layer that you can put on the girl's body, and then you have like a shadow of the guy. I'm trying to if you are moving anything, make sure you're moving both together. Next, we're going to bring in the guns. The gun shot effects. So we're going to try any of the three to see which one works. Try your best to line that up with the gun. You obviously would not want something pointed in the wrong direction. That would just make your design look awful. Next is the sparks, so I'll just have that there. Then so you could also go on the internet to find the gunshot effects. You could try different ones, whichever works for you. Next one to put in that background. We'll try two out to see which works. So the lighter one provides better visuals. It's since everywhere around it is dark, it makes sense for it to be bright, as opposed to using the darker one to allow your whole screen to be dark. It really won't look nice. So the only other thing is to make it blurry and hit OK when you're done. The other thing I want to do is with those sparks I could create a mask and then clean out the parts I don't want, or better still, clean the parts you want. Then when you're done, Ctrl I to invert. Then you can now keep cleaning more parts out. Should also change the blending mode to something like screen, so it gets rid of the dark parts and just leaves just the sparks. Next, we just want to add in maybe a couple of characters flying across the screen. Like I said with in the previous tutorial, when designing, you should aim to have one major catchy design in front of everybody. So in this case, you can see that this is where 90% or 80% of your time will go to, because this is the one that attracts people's attention. Then the text comes in later. Okay, text is in most cases subject to be the last thing that you even put on the design. So once you've created your main catchy design, the next thing is to put in your text. That's something you put in much later. So we're adding sparks. We put in the picture, we maxed it, and then we start using the brush to brush in some parts that we want. Nothing too crazy, basically, but it's just good to have when you're looking at the design and you see different details here and there. Someone went the extra mile to put them there. So rather than just submitting a design that doesn't have any extra thing to look at, go the extra mile and try to add some details here and there. It makes your makes people feel like you put in a whole lot of time to create that design. So those could be birds, it could be a flying book, pages of a paper, whatever. Especially something that just little details. It just makes people feel like you put attention to details and all that stuff. You pay attention to details. Whatever. So I'm just going to drag in the logos. So if this design was for MTN, for example, everything would look a bright yellow. You would still have the same characters. You just put in MTN's branding, and in a way, it's sort of how many designs are done. You see a concept like this, you like it, you recreate it, but you recreate it using another brand's branding guide or whatever, and you would have created a totally new design, because I'm so sure this design exists somewhere else in a different form. Okay, so if you're doing yours, you're probably using two Nollywood characters, two cartoon characters, two popular movie characters. You are doing you're doing with a different color, you're doing different text and all. By the time you put in different elements to this same design, you would have created another design. You would have created something different. By the time you look at 2 or 3 different design elements, and then you take little ideas from each one and put them together, man, you would have created a totally new design, and people would be wondering where you got the concept from. It's just like this. You're just recreating a design using the right branding guidelines, whatever. If this was glow, it would obviously be green. So using the right branding guidelines and the right font and all that, and then taking ideas from 2 or 3 different places, and you have yourself a new design that you can share and get people to say, oh wow, how did you come up with this? So all we'll be doing now is just to add the text into the design. Do your best to complete this design, so that the time you spent recreating this or following this tutorial will not be wasted. You can still add this completed design to your portfolio. It just shows designs that you've worked on or designs that you're capable of creating on your own if you're working in their company. That's one. Then 2, you wouldn't want an incomplete job. It's like you got to this point and you left it uncompleted. You wasted time getting to this point. Why not just complete it? Then for good measure, you could try to replicate a different brand using the same design ideas and guidelines, but make sure that you have a completed design that you can look back and say, I completed this. The keyword there is completed. You don't just want to have hundreds of things you worked on and 0 things to show for it. If you advance in your career, you could always remove it though. The best of all is to take on a new brand something in telecommunications, something in any of the popular industries we have. And then, but the reason why I want to telecommunications is because each of them have a unique color that is attached to them. You could see Zenith, you could see UBA, you could see GT Bank, you could see Access Bank with different colors. So try to come up with your own words, with your own content, with your own text. Put the right font that brand uses. Put the logo of the brand properly. Then also make sure that you put a couple of things in the design to make it look like it belongs to that brand. And then you have a completed project that you would save and add it to your list of completed works. Also, at the end of it all, try to bring in any new concept or idea or something moving around that makes yours different and yours unique. You don't have to do exactly what is being done here, because other people will do exactly what is being done. Your own case, you should try to have something else in it that would make people really like yours more. So we're getting closer to the end of this tutorial. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following through. I hope you learned. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one.